everyone. Thank you for joining me today and doing Pilates. As always, you are the professional of your body. So do what's best for you. Listen to your body. We're just trying to build that awareness of where your movement is coming from and to feel your inner strength. If there is something that I'm suggesting that we do during our practice today and you're just not feeling it, your body is bothering you and it just doesn't feel right for you, then please do not do it. And as always consult your physician first before introducing anything new into your daily exercise routine. So with that in mind, let's get started. It's a little chilly out here this morning, I must admit, so we are going to pick it up a bit and get that heart rate pumping, burn some calories, and kind of go from there. All right, you guys, we're gonna start standing up. Let's just kind of get our bearings straight. As we stand here, I want you to feel your knees underneath your hip sockets. Pull up those belt loops, engaging your core. Feel the tips of the shoulder blades sliding down the back. And just feel that awareness and that energy in your body. And as we stand here, we're going to engage our leg muscles. I want you to feel as if the arches of your feet are kind of pulling in towards one another. Now, I don't want you to feel any kind of strain through your knees, but more so through the inner thighs. Feel as if the inner thighs are magnetized towards one another. And you just feel strength all through the thighs and through the glutes. Of course, your belt loops are lifted. Feel that strength in your core. Tips of the shoulder blades down the back. Let's kind of get started with an easy warm-up to build that awareness. Let's inhale, feel the tips of the shoulder blades slide down the back as we raise our arms, and exhale. Push down, engaging those muscles right around the rib cage, pulling those arms down. Inhaling and exhaling. As you inhale, we're filling the lungs. Try to keep that belly nice and tight, and we're breathing up into the lungs. Let that breath climb. And exhaling, using the strength of the muscle, the core muscles, during that exhale to push the air out. Inhale and exhale. One more, just feeling grounded through the feet. And exhale. All right, I'm gonna turn to the side so that you can see what I'm doing here. Again, still facing me, you're still forward. We're gonna just start doing a squat here. Inhale and exhale, bring those arms down, sit back into a chair here. Now, my arms always go forward into a squat. You can go wherever it feels comfortable for you. Your spine should be stretched. And remember those belt loops. Pull those belt loops up just a bit to feel strong in the belly. Sit your bum back as if you're sitting into the center part or maybe the back of a chair seat. And we're just gonna have a squat here. Just hold it here. You feel the weight in your heels. If you peek down, you should be able to see your toes. Spine is straight, shoulder blades down the back. Let's go ahead and just use muscles in our bum to stand ourselves up, still feeling the pull through your inner thighs. Inhale and exhale. I'm getting mixed up on my words. And sit back. Hold it here, keeping those belt loops lifted. And inhale, press up. Pushing up with those thighs, grounding down through those feet. Exhale. Here we go. This is where the blood starts pumping. I want you to imagine pushing back. So my bum is pushing back behind me. If you were pushing straight down, it may look more like this. We don't want the knees going over the toes. Push the bum back. Imagine you're reaching for the back of the chair, waiting for you back there. Pushing, using those thigh muscles to push, hold. Now what we're gonna do, you can either stay here, or we're gonna ease ourselves down, feeling that weight in the heels, and push ourselves up, hold, and continue to press ourselves all the way up. Squeeze through those thighs again. Inhaling. We're gonna do this 3 more times. And exhale. Finding the back of that seat, feeling that pressure in the heels, pulling up those belt loops, and push. Pushing back, push back, push. yourself back up and push all the way back up 2 more times. Inhale. Get your heart rate pumping a little bit. Exhale. Find that spot, belt loops, and push back. Push, push, push. 5, 4, 3, 2, hold. Come all the way down. Lift right back up. Finding that spot in that seat here and push all the way up. One more time. Whew. Inhale and exhale. Press it down through the arms. Pushing back, belt loops, and push, push. You should not be feeling it in the lower back at the moment. Just feeling it in that upper thigh into your bum. 3, 2, hold. Come all the way down if you can. If not, you're holding that squat and push it right back up and extend. Squeeze through those thighs. Good. All right, inhale and exhale. We're gonna hinge down here. Now, as we hinge, we're hinging straight down. Now, your hinge may look different than mine. You want to try to ultimately be as horizontal as possible without a hunch in the back. So if this is difficult at the moment for you, just raise up a bit. It's not a big deal. Just keep those belt loops lifted and push from your belly. Push all the way up. Inhale. Exhale, find that hinge, squeeze through your bum. So the purpose of this exercise here is feeling that strength in the upper back. So feel as if the shoulder blades are pulling the top part of the arms up towards the sky. My spine is long here. Feel as if your spine is like a slinky being stretched. And then use the muscles deep inside in that belly to push yourself up. We'll do this one more time and then we'll start a movement. And exhale. Feeling the shoulder blades pull down the back. Feel the shoulder blades create a lift in the arms. Feel the muscles in the back of the neck, keeping the ears in line with the shoulders. Feel the belly being pulled up and gravitated towards the spine. Now use that strength to push yourself up. Now we're going to keep our arms open, palms facing me. And we're going to use the shoulder blades to pull the arms back. So it's not a push with the arms. Imagine your shoulder blades pulling away from your ribs and just kind of pulling the arms back. So feeling that resistance. Now as we do this, we're going to create a hinge at the hips. So as we pull, legs are strong here. You're still feeling that gravitation towards the inner thighs. Bum is squeezed. As our arms are moving and the shoulder blades are pulling those arms, we're going to hinge. Feeling the strength in the belly, pull up towards the spine. Palms now are facing more down towards the ground. Neck is long. And push up with the belly. Continue the movement with the arms. We'll do this 2 more times. If you need to take a break, take a break. Just slowly hinging, keeping the belt loops lifted. Keeping the belly strong. Pulled in nice and tight. Spine is long here. Feet are grounded and pushing up with the belly. We'll do this one more time. Upper back into the shoulders, up into the neck is feeling very strong here and fatigued. Palms still facing down. Feeling long through the spine, grounded through the feet, engaged through the legs, and push up. Hold it. Good. Slowly float those arms down. Roll those shoulders. All right, similar movement. However, the direction of the palm is going to be facing down now. So now we're going to push down. And when we do this, the legs are still very strong. You still feel that gravitation towards the inner thigh, the strength through the bum. And we're feeling the muscles right around the rib cage, kind of pulling those arms down here. Up from the armpit and down through the ribs. We feel those arms being pulled down. Same thing, we're gonna start hinging. Now as we do this, the palms are now facing kind of back towards your body, back towards behind you, feeling the muscles right around into the upper back, right underneath that armpit, and lift and pull, pulling down. Feel that pulling sensation. 2 more times. Good, keep on pumping here. Legs are strong, pulling down. You're feeling the muscles right around the spine, right up in the upper back. Kind of get stronger here. Fatigued, keep those belt loops lifted. And 1 more time. Good, hold it and push up with the belly. And relax, bring those arms down and roll those shoulders. Good. All right, you guys, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring our arms up, flatten our hands up towards the ceiling or the sky. Again, still feeling wrapped around the thighs, pull through those inner thighs. Feel as if those inner thighs are kind of forcing those arches of the feet, pulling in towards one another. Now what I want you to do is I want you to focus on the biceps, pushing the hands up towards the ceiling. Push. Imagine something really heavy. Now when I work out, I don't like to use a lot of props because I like to really focus on my body and focus on that mental resistance that we can add, because let's face it, not all of us have the means to weights just laying around the house. Some of you may have invested in that. And if you want to add weights in your hands, for sure do that. If you want to add any sort of canned good in your hands or a water bottle, feel free to do that. So this is the point of just doing these simple exercises for when we don't have any physical means of weight. We can just add that resistance onto ourselves. So keep on pushing up, keep on pushing. Feel the bicep kind of pulling the hand up, or if you feel better thinking about pushing up, but the movement and strength is coming from high up in the arm. Let's do 3, 2, and 1. Hold it here. Now we're going to use the biceps just to do a simple bicep curl and press out. Now because we don't have weight, we're going to have resistance during each direction. So imagine someone resisting against your forearm with every pull and push. Inner thighs are still magnetized, still feeling that wrapping sensation with the thighs. Glutes are still very strong, belt loops are still lifted. Push and pull. Now let's bring those arms down as we continue that bicep curl. Push and pull. As our arms become closer to our body, we can almost introduce the tricep here for that extension. Let's do 5 more. 5, 4, 3, squeeze, 2, and 1. Now we're going to come halfway down, hold it here, little pulses. 10, 9, 8, 7. This is up to you as far as how hard you want to make this. 3, 2, hold. We'll do this 2 more times, little pulses. 8 more. 3, 2, hold. Last time, push it up or pull it up, however you need to think about it. 3, 2, and hold. Press all the way down and relax. All right, bringing our arms up here. We're going to use our chest muscles to pull those arms in. Now notice when we do, the back back of your upper back, your shoulder blades stay straight down the back. I'm not rounding my back here because then we're getting it out of the chest. The movement has no meaning then. So I'm just keeping the shoulder blades straight down the back, and I'm really resisting the chest muscles, pulling the arm in and pushing back. In both directions you have that resistance. Push and pull here. Trying to keep the neck long, chin parallel to the chest. Feet are grounded, legs are strong, belt loops are lifted slightly. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. We're going to hold it out here, introducing the upper back now to slide those hands up, tips of the shoulder blades sliding down the back as we do, and pulling down, and push and pull, push and pull. Let's pull those elbows down just a little bit farther for a little bit more of a rotation in that shoulder blade. Good. Let's do 4, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. Now bring those arms down. Now we're going to split our stance just a bit. We're going to point the right foot, the right set of toes, over to the side heel to where the heel is in line with the arch of the foot on the left side. My toes on the left side are pointing forward here. So what we're going to do is this arm is just going to be peaceful at the moment. This is going to be our working arm. So what I want you to do is we're going to raise the arm up and pull. So again, shoulder blade pulling and pushing up. Tips of the shoulder blade sliding down the back. Now we're just going to create a movement here, just like we did at the beginning of our workout. I'm just pushing my arm up overhead and pulling that elbow down into my side. Now as we go down, I'm going to start bending this leg and kind of just stretching over with my torso. This arm can rest gently on the thigh. So what the point of this is introducing the strength in the core here to kind of keep this torso lifted. And you can notice when I lose the strength, my inner resistance, what the movement looks like. So notice what it feels like adding that resistance and feeling that strength inside, controlling the movement. Start lifting up, straightening this leg. We're going to do this 2 more times. Bending, leaning over, feeling the strength inside. You can either rest gently or you can bring your arm out to the side. And 1 more time. Just feeling that shoulder blade here. Feeling the strength in the core. Supporting that torso as it leans over. And relax. Let's come over to the other side. Switch the position of your feet here. And again. Starting out standing up here. Just feeling that shoulder blade working as it pulls that elbow in. We can start bending and leaning over, gently placing that hand lightly on that bent leg. Again, if you feel like you don't need it and you're strong enough to support the torso leaning, engage the obliques here and that outer waistline. Two more times. Push and pull. And slowly lifting up with that strength. Good. And 1 more. Leaning over, feeling the strength in the torso. And lifting up. one last time and relax. Perfect. All right, you guys, let's come to the end of your workstation. If you have a mat, it would be the end of the mat. We're gonna start working our way down to the mat, but with a little bit of work. First, let's go ahead and inhale. Feel the shoulder blades, raise those arms, keep those belt loops lifted, engage your core, ground your feet. Squeeze through those inner thighs at the moment. The bum is nice and tight. We're gonna exhale as we dive down, hinging at the hips, again, engaging the belly. We're gonna bend our knees to get our hands down to the mat, and we're gonna try to walk out in 3 or 4 steps with our hands into a plank position, shoulders down. If you need to come down to your knees, we're not on the kneecap, we're rolling over the knee and landing our plank position, squeezing, squeezing, squeezing through the legs. Let's hold it here. And let's go ahead, lift those hips and use those strong arms to walk ourselves back in 3 or 4 steps. And use the belly to roll yourself up, articulating that spine. As you roll up, you're becoming stronger, zipping up through the legs, zipping up through the core. Raise the shoulders with the ears, slide the shoulders down the back. Again, inhaling, exhaling, diving down. Walking out, using the strength of our upper arm to walk out into a plank. Remember, you have your knees available. You're tucking your hips underneath of you, squeezing through those thighs, pressing down as much pressure through your feet against the mat as your hands to keep the weight evenly distributed in your body. And let's lift those hips, using the strong arms to guide yourself back in 4 or less walks with our hands and zipping up. Feel the strength just creeping up the legs here. Lift the shoulders with the ears, slide the shoulders down the back, feeling strong through the body. One more time, and exhale, dive down. Hold it here. This is where we're gonna have fun with this plank here. Just hold it here. Now, if you want, you can come down into child's pose. You can come down to your knees. We're just gonna hold the plank for a little bit. See how long we can last. If you wanna kill some time, you can extend one leg up. The leg is long, hips are pointing down. Legs are very strong here. Just use the muscles to squeeze the femur bone into your legs. Just switching my legs out. Shoulders down the back, collarbone stretched, neck is long. Now again, if you're one of these people who wants to be on your forearm, press through your forearm. Nice and flat with the body. Hold it here. I'm gonna come up onto my knees. Now this time, instead of lifting my hips, I'm gonna push my hips back. My knees are gonna dangle down underneath my hip bones. My belt loop's lifted just a bit, and my shins are parallel to the mat. Really feeling it in the thighs. Come back out into your plank. We'll do this 2 more times. Feeling strong, landing that plank, pushing those hips back. You can find your child's pose here if you like. Shoulders down the back, belt loops lifted. I'm gonna walk my hands back just a bit. Find your plank. Strong, strong, strong legs. Heart rate's getting up there. And one more time, push those hips back. I'm gonna walk my hands back just a bit. Get those knees down, get those hips back, shoulders down, land your plank. And you can come down onto your knees if you'd like. We're gonna ease ourselves down onto the mat to lay on our belly. Control ourselves down with that Pilates push-up. My elbows are nice and squeezed and tight to my ribs, guiding myself down. Overlap your hands and place your forehead down onto your hands. Legs are strong here, so I want you to tuck those hips underneath of you a little bit. And squeeze your bum in nice and tight. And I want you to feel your belly button lifted up out of that mat just a bit. I'm gonna keep my head lifted just so you guys can hear me, but for you, I want your forehead resting on your hands. All right, now what we're gonna do is I want you to extend your leg, so lift your thigh up just a bit. I want you to develop your quads to where your knees are lifted off the mat. I just found my leg bent. I don't want your leg bent. I just want you to feel your quad, extending the leg, and little lifts. We're lifting with the hamstring here. Lift. Keep the belly in nice and tight to help protect that lower back. Three, two, one, other side. Three, two, one, other side. Now, my base leg, the leg that's on the ground, I want you to push the top of the foot into the mat. That helps ground yourself a little bit, helps activate that leg, and helps maybe keep the other leg straighter. We're working our lower back and the hamstring. And switch it out. Three, two, and one, and relax. Let's tuck our toes underneath of us and swivel your heels from side to side. So, where you were feeling that probably is mainly in your lower back, the muscles in the lower back around your spine and your hamstrings. We need to build these muscles in the lower back to help protect our spine, not just in the belly, but in the back as well. But you shouldn't have felt that in the spine, just the muscles surrounding the spine. All right, now what we're gonna do, again, flatten those feet out, pull those hips underneath of you a little bit, feel the strength kind of creep up in your bum and in your belly. We're gonna bring our arms out to the side, just like at the beginning of our session. We use the upper back to lift our arms up to the sky. This is where we're gonna lift the arms up, same thing. Now, your forehead, your face is parallel to the mat, looking straight down, ears in line with our shoulders, arms out to the side. Let's go ahead and lift the thighs up off the mat just a bit. Legs are straight here. So quads are activated, hips are pulled in, and let's go ahead, use the shoulder blades to lift those arms up and lower. Belly is pulled up nice and tight. Neck is long. Let's do 5, 4. If you want to create a little lift in the chest as well, use those muscles to lift the chest. 3 more. And 1. Float down. Let's bring our hands right underneath our shoulders here. We're going to bend our knees. We're going to anchor the tops of our knees, the very bottom of the quadriceps here. Pull those elbows in tight. Pull the elbows down towards the mat. We're going to use the strength of those triceps to push ourselves up and to lower. Now, if you can't come all the way to the mat, that's okay. If you're only bending your elbows a little bit, that's okay. It's no problem. Try to work on keeping your form, keeping your bum squeezed, your inner thighs squeezed in nice and tight, your spine and neck long, and your belly pulled up towards the spine. Your strength will get there. If you can go all the way down to the mat and push all the way up, see how many of those you can do. I can only go about halfway. We're gonna do 3 more. Let's do 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, roll over those knees. Let's find our child's pose. Open your knees up as wide as your mat. and just push your hips back, reach forward. Your palms can be facing down or lifted up, whichever feels more comfortable for you. And let's go ahead, walk our hands back, pull those muscles in tight, so pull up those belt loops here and use your strength to push yourself up nice and tall. Perfect. All right, you guys. Now let's come down onto our side. First, some outer thigh, outer glute work. We're gonna come all the way down. Now, again, if you want to cradle your head and keep your neck straight, if that's more comfortable for you, do that. If you feel better with your head propped up, that's perfect. If you feel like you need a little bit more of a challenge, you can prop yourself up. Remember, none of this, nothing leaning into the shoulder. We're almost feeling that weight gravitating down towards the hips, and all of the hips is carrying the weight. This is just here just as a kickstand. We're pressing down through the forearm. If you can press down through the forearm, it really does help kind of keep everything centered. All right, for me today, I think I want to prop my head up, but you do what's best for you. All right, guys, leg is out, my knee is bent. We're just going to start with some raises here. Just some simple leg raises. And again, I feel like I need to reiterate this. My bottom leg is pressing against the mat. That's isolating that outer thigh muscle on the bottom leg. My core muscles are strong. My belt loops are still lifted, which is activating the belly muscles, keeping those ribs closed, creating just a little bit of space underneath the rib cage. My knee is pointed forward here. I'm not trying to lift up so high to where my knee rotates up above my head. Keep it pointing forward. And remember, as we lift, the muscles, my quads are activated, lengthening the leg. And every time I lift, I'm trying to make my leg grow longer. Feeling it in that outer thigh. We've probably done about 20. Hold it up here. Find a place where your mark. Find that foot where it's aiming, a spot on the wall where it's aiming. We're gonna dive the knee down and reach for that spot on the wall. So as I dive down, my foot is floating into the air here. I have a diagonal in the shin. Keep that foot afloat and press. Push. I do these exercises a lot. I think they're so effective just in that outer thigh going around into that glute. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Now what we're going to do is bring this leg down just hip bone distance apart here. We're going to pull this leg forward just a bit. Now as we do this, keep the belt loop lifted, but don't round that lower back. Keep the core straight here, removing the head of the femur bone just within that hip socket. So my thigh, my top thigh is a little bit farther up from my bottom thigh. If your thigh is even with your bottom thigh, that's okay. Just to where you can manage keeping that core straight. And what we're going to do is we're going to lower that leg down and lift. Lower and lift. Again, remember, the torso from my sits bones to my shoulder are completely straight, pulled like a slinky here. The head of the femur bone is just working within the hip socket. So really now feeling that outer thigh, wouldn't you say? Let's do 4, keeping that leg straight. My knee is pointed up in this direction. 3, 2, and 1. And slowly float down. Bend that knee. Let's open the chest up towards the ceiling or the sky in my case. Getting that stretch in that outer thigh. gonna do what we've done before. If you've done my other sessions with me, we're gonna get over to the other side, but with work here, we're gonna tuck this elbow underneath your torso, and we're gonna bring this top hand even with your shoulder. Neck is just afloat here, straight. We're gonna pull this elbow in tight to our body, and we're gonna do 4 push-ups here. This bottom arm can be a spot if we need to. Control yourself down. 3, 2, one more time. We'll stay lifted and come over to the other side. Finding your position that suits you and your body the best. Bending this bottom leg and extending the top leg hip distance here, pulling up the belt loops just a smidge here. Keeping this leg, this is our starting position, quad is activated. Straighten that leg as long as possible. We're gonna lift and lower, stop at the hip. Again, remember, sometimes I like to place my hand here on my hip or on the working body part, just so I know where the movement is coming from. It's important to learn that. Core stays very strong to help keep that pelvis stable. We don't want it reacting to the movement. We want to always be in control. This is about the only time we have control with what's happening with our body here. So let's just practice that, especially these days, right? Lifting, keeping that knee pointed forward. Trying to lengthen this leg as long as possible here through the foot. Tightening up the muscle to a stop and then slowly easing it down. Tightening it up, stopping the movement, and easing down. Let's do 3 more. 2. And hold it up here. Find that marker on that wall or wherever you are, wherever the foot is aiming towards. We're gonna dive the knee down with the foot afloat here and at an angle and push right back out to that spot. Controlling. Now again, my hips are not reacting. I'm not folding into this movement. My core is as long as possible. The head of the femur bone working within the hip socket here, controlling the movement of the knee diving down, tapping the floor slightly, and then pushing right back out, engaging those muscles. Push and aim. Let's do 3 more. 2 more. It's starting to heat up a little bit out here now. Last time, hold it here. Bring that long leg down. Pull it forward. Remember, it can be as even as the thigh or up just a little bit more, providing that our hips don't start reacting. Again, we don't want to fold into the belly. Keep those hips long, keep that core straight and long from the shoulders down through the sits bones. We're going to engage the thigh, knee pointed forward still, tap the floor and lift. Only as high as what you're able to manage here. It doesn't have to be a huge lift. Leg just has to be long. Try to make that leg as long as possible. And this is where we're really feeling it. Let's do 4 more. Use your breath here. 3, use your breath to your advantage to tighten up those core muscles. 2, push the air out of the mouth. And last time. Float that leg down, curl it up, open the chest to the sky. Good. Now for those arm push-ups, again, we're going to tuck this arm underneath of us. It can be a spotter here. Place the hand right in front of the shoulder and pull this elbow into your body here, shoulders down the back. We'll do 4 lifts and lift. Remember, bottom arm can be a spotter. You want to guide yourself down, no plopping. Control yourself down. 1 more. Try to make your feet heavy and push all the way up and swing it around. we'll start our belly here. All right, guys. You know your body the best. So again, if flexion is not a good idea for you, then know that you can keep your spine straight. Today, I'm going to be flexing and curling my spine, but again, remember, if you need to stay straight, keep those belt loops lifted, especially when you go back. Keep those ribs closed tight, shoulders down the back, ears in line. So anytime we're pushing back with a flexion, if you need to choose to keep your back straight, know that that's an option for you. All right, you guys, we're gonna first start with some roll downs. What I want to do is, before we go to a complete roll down, because you're gonna find where you need to stop and where your challenging point is. You may come all the way down, roll all the way down, and be able to roll all the way back up, and you may not. This is not the point to add frustration to our body. The point is to gain strength, to learn our body, and to become familiar with it, become familiar with our strengths, and to build from there. All right, my knees are bent slightly, and I'm applying a little bit of pressure with my feet, using my inner thighs to squeeze my knees in just a bit, holding on underneath my thighs. Not for dear life, hopefully. What I want you to do is I want you to think of your hips and your ribs as two separate entities. So when I say curl, we're not just curling the ribs or curling the hips in. We're going to kind of create a C and curl both of them in towards one another. So think of your pubic bone pointing up to your chin, your belly button forces being pulled back into your spine, and the top part of your rib cage curling forward. My shoulders stay down the back. They're rolled forward, but they're not hunched up to my ears. So everything, it's like the middle part of your belly kind of creates the muscles going down and going up, pushing and curling in towards one another. And I just want you to feel that strength. And this is where we can practice breathing with Pilates. So let's start out. Inhale, exhale, squeezing all of that air out here. And now let's learn how to breathe up into the lungs as we curl. My shoulders are still over my hip bones, and I'm just kind of using the muscles to curl the pubic bone up towards the chin, and use the muscles, the upper muscles, to pull that belly button up and underneath my ribs. We're going to inhale up into the lungs and exhale here. Inhale, and hopefully you're feeling a little bit of strength going on. Now remember, my feet are pushing down into the mat, and my inner thighs are squeezing as tightly together as possible. That helps engage your lower muscles, lower abdominal muscles. Excuse me. Now let's start the movement. I want you to inhale up into the lungs, and exhale, pull yourself straight. Let the muscles be in control of the movement. Inhale, exhale, curl. Inhale down here, and exhale, curl up. Now this is where we're going to start getting a little bit bigger with the movement. Inhale, curl, shoulders stay over the hips, and if you can, we'll inhale and exhale, curl just a little bit more, maybe finding that tailbone as you curl that pubic bone up towards your chin just a little bit more, feeling that belly button pulling down. You can hold on for dear life, squeezing through your inner thighs, ground your feet. Now use that strength to pull the shoulders over the hips, and then sit yourself up tall. Inhale, exhale, curl. Pull yourself back. Now, as you ground yourself, I want you to imagine a string of pearls, and the pearl is being glued down, super glued down, and stretched in between each pearl as you come down. Now feel that strength. Pull those shoulders. This is where you're going to find your strength, your capabilities, and where you need to stop. Curling here may be enough for you, and that's okay. It's no big deal. Stretching yourself down, maybe finding that lower back, the rib cage. Pull yourself up. Ground your feet, squeeze through those inner thighs. And if we can, we'll go all the way down this time. Inhale. Exhale, rolling down, stretching in between each vertebra here. Just like a strand of pearls. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Lower. Lower all the way down. Inhale. Raise your arms up above your head. Exhale those arms over the shoulders and start lifting the head and the shoulders. Squeeze those inner thighs. Ground your feet. Pull the shoulders over the hips. And sit tall. Let's do that one more time. Inhale and exhaling down. Stopping where you need to stop. Movement is all with control. Now wherever you stopped, I want you to come halfway down. So we're onto the meaty part of our bum here. We're not on our sits bones. We're not on the tailbone. We're just on the meaty part of the bum. Hip bone or the pubic bone pointed up towards your chin, holding on, shoulders down, curling and squeezing that belly button back, and we're gonna pulse back. Pulse, pulse, push, push. Now again, if you have osteoporosis, or if anything wrong with your spine where the curvature of your spine or guiding yourself down is too much and there's pain on that spine, this is where you stay straight. You don't even roll down. You don't even do that. Now every time I'm pushing back, I'm grounding down through my feet, pressing through my inner thighs, feeling the muscle pulling back and squeezing. Squeeze. 3, 2, hold. Now guide yourself down. If you need to, walk your hands down your thighs and control yourself down as much as you can. Good. Bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice little hug. Okay, we say make it a good one, especially if it's your first hug of the day, but don't make it your last. All right, you guys. We're gonna place our feet down here, and I want you to feel your tailbone. I want you to feel the height of your tailbone from where your hip bones are to a little bit in between. So meaning your hips aren't pointing down, forcing the rib cage to lift off. You're able to push the ribs down, but I don't want you to push the ribs down so far to where your hips are being pulled in and you feel your spine being flat. I want you to find your neutral, the natural curve of your spine. So there should be just a little pocket of air. So we feel the strength pushing down through the ribs, feeling as if our ribs are laced nice and tight up top here. All the while we stay grounded through here and pushing down through the hips a little bit to find that natural curve, to find that little bubble or pocket of air underneath the lower lumbar, if that makes sense. So take a moment to find that spot and feel the strength that it takes to keep that neutral spine and to keep yourself grounded or rooted into your mat. And we're going to extend our arms up, and with one foot at a time, I want you to come up into your tabletop. Remember, you can use your stoppers here, and lower down and come over to the other side. I like to start off in a position where you can find your best strength and your best movement. So for some of you, this may be challenging and this may be it for you. If that's the case, that's perfect. Just do as many of these as you can throughout the rest of the exercises. If you're feeling, remember, you should feel strength right in your belly. You should not feel any pressure in your spine or your back whatsoever. You should always feel grounded through your rib cage. Once your rib cage starts lifting off the mat, you've lost control and you've lost your strength. So keep that strength pressed down and that tailbone anchored and that little bubble underneath. Now what we're going to do, we're going to pick up the challenge just a bit. When the right leg comes up, keep it up and let the left leg come up to match it. Press the right leg down, left leg down. We'll stay on this right side. Stay on the right side. Again, we're feeling grounded through the rib cage. Press down through the tailbone, that little bubble underneath the spine, but we don't feel any pressure or any soreness in the back whatsoever. Now what we're going to do is we're going to switch it up and go over to the left. So lift the left up, and then the right matches, left down, right down. Your arms can be down to your side, kind of grounding yourself. If you feel pretty strong here, what I like to offer for a challenge is your arms up into the air. Shoulders down, collarbone stretched. Let's do this one more time on the left side. Now from there, this is where we can add the challenge. Again, if you want to just stay with one leg moving up and down, or again, remember you have this option. Now if you want, I want you to come up onto your toes, lift the heels, and I want you to bring both legs up and press down, providing you can stay down through the ribs. As you lower the legs, press down through the ribs. Feel the strength kind of stretch from side to side here. Pressing down. Feel as if you're being strapped down to the mat and anchored down. Remember, the head of the femur bone is working within the hip socket. The hips are not responding, the ribs are not responding. We're just moving those thigh bones up and down. You can bring your arms down to the side to help balance yourself, or you can float in the air. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Stay up in this tabletop position. Now what we can do is I want you to extend one leg out, push it down, pull it out back into tabletop, other side. Now, if you want to try this, but you feel your ribs lifting, and you're like, ooh, I'm not so sure about this, I'm getting it into my back, simply drop your feet, extend one leg, do the same thing. Come back into tabletop, bring it down. If you want to stay on one side, you can. Every movement has a purpose here. So we're pushing that leg out, pulling it down, pulling it back up, and moving on to the other side. So the legs are strong here. They're not sloppy, they're moving with purpose through the air, slicing through the air. Neck stays long. Let's do one more. And relax. Bring your knees into your chest, pull it in, and rock from side to side. Moving into inner thighs and belly again. We're going to place our hands down. And we're going to open up our knees as wide as our shoulders here, and our feet are going to stay together. However, it's not the palms of your feet. It's not the bottom of your feet. Our feet, imagine your feet being parallel to a wall or pressed up against a wall. So the bottoms of our feet, think of pushing against the wall here. We're going to open up our toes a little bit and bring our heels together. So there's a little bit of space, like 3 fingers width, between the knuckles of my feet here, and my heels are pressing together, and I want you to push the heels together. Feel those inner thighs kind of come alive there a little bit. Again, we're still pressing down through the rib cage, and we're still pressing down through that tailbone, keeping that little bubble underneath the lower lumbar protected. So they call this the frog face out. So you kind of feel like a frog laying here. What I want you to do is activate those inner thighs to squeeze into the heels. Use those inner thighs to push those heels out and pull it back in, all the while staying grounded. Now, if this is too much for your lower back and you're like, oh, I don't think I can do this, simply Bring your feet down to the ground. Same position with our feet. Our feet are open, knees are open, and you're using your inner thighs to push and pull. You can do that as well, getting it into the hamstrings a little bit. Again, your challenge with the arms could be simply lifting your arms up or out to the side. Push and pull. Getting into those inner thighs, elongating the spine. Feel as if the spine is a spring being stretched long, especially as you extend those legs. The pressure between the heels do not disappear. Keep pressing through the heels. Push. Lengthen those legs. Let's do 4, 3, 2, and 1. And bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice little hug. Rock from side to side. All right, you guys, one more exercise. We're going to place our legs down here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some hamstrings. As we come down, there's a little bit of distance from our heels to our bum. Our knees are coming straight up from our hip bones. And as we stay here, I want you to start pushing your feet down to the ground. Feel your hamstrings kind of wake up a little bit. We're still noticing the spine. We're still noticing that bubble underneath the lower lumbar at the moment. Knees are right in line with our hips. We're going to curl the pubic bone, curl the hips into the belly, flatten out that bubble underneath of you, and start pressing through those heels to let the hips rise up here. Arms stay long and anchored down, and as you come up, the knees are in line with the hip socket. So take a look down and make sure those knees are in line. Don't let them flare out. Keep those inner thighs nice and engaged here. You feel long through your torso. Good. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Now, if you want, our challenge will be, if you want to just lower the torso and push right back up for little pulses, you can do that. Or we can stay lifted and practice extending one leg out, keeping those hips even and bringing it down. Keep that belly in. Keep the belt loops lifted up towards the belly to protect the spine. If your back starts bothering you, you may need to lower down just a bit. Just lower those hips down a little bit. If that is still bothering your back, simply lower the hips down and just push down into, apply pressure down into your feet and just lift the tailbone up just a bit. It doesn't have to be a huge movement. Remember, we're building our strength here. Let's do 4 more lifts. Keep the torso long, keep those arms long and stable. If you're feeling like you don't need those arms for the last 2, lift those arms. Keep those knees in line with the hips, hips even, and slowly roll down. Bring your knees into your chest, rock from side to side. Good. All right, you guys, let's go ahead, stretch it out just for a moment. Let's bring one leg down, extend one leg up, place your hands below your knee here on your thigh. Try to straighten that leg as much as you can, and instead of letting your hips lift up, use your belly to press through the hips, trying to straighten that leg as much as you can. Your stretch will become a little bit more effective. If you need it a little bit deeper, just push through that heel. If you can stay grounded and then bring that leg up, that will be your stretch. Let's roll the ankle around nice and slow, flattening the ankle, pressing down through the tailbone, keeping that leg straight. Some of you may need to bend that leg. That's okay. Let's reverse the ankle roll. toes up towards the chest. Cross that ankle over the knee on top of the thigh here and push that thigh open. If you need a little deeper of a stretch, just reach through this window, lift this leg up. I like to sometimes push against this thigh with my elbow, pulling the leg up closer to the torso, feeling it in that outer thigh. We worked our legs a lot today. This feels good, doesn't it? Control that foot down. Let's switch over to the other side. Ground yourself down through that tailbone and the ribs. Extend that leg. You may need to bend the leg. That's okay. Apply holding onto the thigh right underneath the knee. And start rolling that ankle. Flattening the ankle. Feeling the stretch in the ankle. Rolling around. And reverse. Let's pull the toes up towards the torso, really stretching that leg. And crossing that ankle over the thigh, above the knee. I'm not on top of the knee, and I'm not on my foot either. Cross over the ankle and on the thigh here. And press that thigh up towards the sky. I like to keep my toes flexed up towards my knee. It feels better on my knee. And if you want, reach through, press this elbow against the thigh to keep that thigh open as you pull the other thigh up towards the chest. Slowly bring that leg down. Let's roll over onto our side, push ourselves up, come to your comfortable seated position, roll those shoulders. Good. Just for our next stretch, let's sit tall, pull those belt loops, let's bring that forehead down. Quieting our mind here. Let's twist that neck over to the right shoulder, looking down at that shoulder, twisting as far as you can, and then letting your chin hold the weight. Keep your chest open, so push that left shoulder back just a bit. Hands are soft, wrists are relaxed. Pivot your head, let your ear hang to the shoulder. And slowly pushing your head to the top, always feeling that push from the underneath, and bring that forehead down again. Feeling that neck elongate and stretch. Let's twist the nose over to that left shoulder, twisting, keeping that chest open. Letting your chin hold the weight. Pivoting your head. And slowly pushing the head to the top, keeping your eyes closed for the moment. Let's bring our hands together. Let your thumbs rest against your chest. Just take a moment to yourself. Placing all of your attention on your body, noticing your inner strength, rewarding yourself and being thankful for your inner strength. You have it. You used it today. Be proud of yourself. Find that gentle touch within your hands. The loved ones you are able to come in contact with, let it be a loving touch today. Let it be an encouraging touch. Let it be supportive. Let it be a touch that you would want to receive. And let's raise that touch above our head as we inhale, filling the lungs with the breath, letting the breath climb higher up into the throat. enjoy your beautiful day, and come join me next time. Thanks for your time today.